Forza Motorsport 8 in 2025. It's actually kind of insane. I'm really enjoying the game, but every time I come back to this game, I play it in benches, and there's always a conversation about it being disappointing or even bad. And I just wanted to talk about it while I commentate these races. So what you're seeing here is me testing out some builds. I ran into a forum that was just like, these are the best cars for each class in Forza, so I wanted to see how they held up, and a lot of these ended up being like bot, the built versus bot wave, you know what I'm saying, right, where you build a car to try to match the PI of insert car here and insert class here and whatnot. You try to see what's better. Well, yeah, that's this. And right here, I take an embarrassing L where I woefully oversteer and end up hoeing this guy fighting for top 10. It was absolutely awful. I felt horrible. I felt so bad. I actually tracked down his gamer tag and sent him a message apologizing for completely wiping him out. On a side note, this is me later in the day doing a redemption race. As you can see me wiggling, trying to warm up my tires and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about Forza Motorsport 8, as although I don't play the game as much as I did when I first came out, I mean, obviously not, I don't understand why people dislike this game so much. Now obviously, if I watch the videos, they probably don't dislike the game, they probably just feel like it didn't live up to expectations or whatnot, or they expected more, or they're bored with the game or whatnot, or maybe even it's not the game itself, it's the current state of the game. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I find a lot of Forza videos boring. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I've been trying to find a way to make it more entertaining, and that leads into our next conversation. But nonetheless, I've actually had a phenomenal time with Forza Motorsport 8, and the reason why I like this game so much is, while some of you may feel like it lacks content and needs more, I honestly think that's indefensible. I don't think there's a debate for it not needing, like, what game doesn't need more content? I mean, the only game you can think of that doesn't need any more content is GTA Online. Like, there's enough shit in there, get it out of here. All right, let's get GTA 6 rolling. But to keep it racing and whatnot, I like Forza Motorsport because I know what I'm getting into. Like, when I get the itch to build a car and race it and have like battles, or seeing where I am on the podium and whatnot, or even sometimes I don't even come on here to race. Sometimes I don't have time for that. I just come on here and I just do rivals, and it's insane seeing my opinion on rivals absolutely shift, because before I was all about racing, all about PvP. I did not understand drifting. I thought drag racing was boring, and I definitely thought time trials were boring. I only did time trials and Need for Speed and Midnight Club because they're required of you. You have to do them to beat the game. So it just it is what it is with me. But now I actually really like it, especially the ghost feature. Being able to see the ghost of the car that set the time you're trying to beat is a legendary feature, and I hope that's a thing forever. But nonetheless, to get back to the point, I like this game. I come on here, I get a good PvP experience, and that's kind of probably the disconnect between me and the people who dislike the game or are disappointed with the game, is that I am purely about PvP in racing games. I like going player versus player. Now maybe when I have a community, we can do silly fun things that are less competitive, like, I don't know, drift events, which those are competitive, or car shows and whatnot, but that will come in like free roam games like Horizon and Car X Street, BeamNG when I build a PC, GTA 6 Online, which I'll do another conversation about GTA 6 Online and the car community and whatnot. But I really wanted to ask, why do people dislike this game so much? Would you mind telling me in the comments? Because I do not want to watch a 5-minute video I'd watch, but some of these videos are 15-20 minutes, and I don't want to just hear some guy in a monotone voice say Forza Horizon is disappointing because shaders and PC performance and this specific car is not in this game and there's no this and blah blah blah. I don't want to hear that shit. for lack of a better word, I need real nigga reasons for why you dislike the game. I mean, one thing that a pet peeve that's growing, it's not a pet peeve yet, it's just a slight annoyance at the moment, but I really dislike when people are like, oh, I want it to be more like X game, I need this from X game. It's like, if you're coming on here to Forza Motorsport 8 and you're like, I want it to play like Forza Motorsport 2, alright? Well, my thing is, if you want a game that plays like Forza Motorsport 2, go play Forza Motorsport 2. If you want a game that plays like Midnight Club LA, go fucking play Midnight Club LA. Like, they still sell it. Nonetheless, oh, I shook my head there because I'm like, dude, I'm driving slow as shit. I'm fucking up. But I don't know. I was racing at like 1 in the morning and my lines were just awful. But back to the rant, I just want to know what people decide about this game, because I genuinely enjoy it, at least the PvP. My only gripes with the PvP is you end up with situations like this on screen right now, where there's normally 1 to 4 cars ahead of me, and they're anywhere from 3 to, or in this case, 16 seconds ahead of me, and then I am like 2 to like 4 seconds ahead of the group of people behind me. So it ends up turning into a hot lap challenge. Like right here, I am just racing to try to beat my best time right now, and just seeing if I can keep this guy from catching up. He actually does close the gap a little bit. I don't know if he actually passes me or not, but he definitely ends up closing the gap. Nonetheless, yeah, I like the game. I just, sometimes I will race and I'll get a bunch of those races where it's just like, you are like top 30% in the lobby, right? You're better than 60 to 70 and sometimes even 80% of the cars are the players in this lobby. The difference between you and them is the difference between you and the 79% of people behind you is 2 seconds, and the difference between you and the 20% of people ahead of you is 2 or 3 seconds, and you're just in this little pocket where you're just battling yourself. You're essentially just hot lapping for the sake of hot lapping to get some XP and shit like that, which, I mean, it is calm. You know, I'd be throwing on music and shit like that, but I don't know if that makes good content. Speaking of good content, I want to know what you guys want to hear. Like, I've tried a variety of different styles on this. First, it was just me posting me racing with no commentary, and then with the music I listen to and posting music over it. Then eventually I started using the in-app features like SoundCloud and Spotify to play music while I'm playing the game and putting those on. And then occasionally I would commentate when I had the chance to turn my microphone on and talk without you hearing the TV or something in the background. I would do it. But the thing is, or there's now where I can just turn it on, race, put a little background music on, and just talk through the race and whatnot. And obviously in the future I would talk about either the topic of the video and the thumbnail and title or whatever, or I just commentate the race, which would be more casual and chill. But the thing is, I felt like if you're watching the video, you obviously, 1, want to hear the car, and 2, if you click the video because of the title or you search something, you want the answer to whatever you click. And the thing is, like, I don't really know what path to take. So like, the more popular, at least from what I'm seeing in my algorithm, the popular thing to do in the racing video game community is to A, do challenge videos, or B, just post raw clips of your best races. And I think just raw clips of your best races are a little boring, to be honest. Obviously sometimes I'll watch them to be interested, but after a while it's just like, okay, like I don't know, I'm not in that target market. I don't get a kick out of that. And then the challenge videos are awesome, but it's just like, when you start this late, it's just, what challenge can you do, and also how long it takes for those to do. Like, obviously I edit these videos myself. Maybe there'll be a point in time where I'm successful enough to hire an editor for one of these channels, right? Or even this channel. I wouldn't mind. This is a 4th channel. I wouldn't mind handing the editing off to a you know, third party type shit, as long as I still, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just like, what, I don't know what you want to see. Would it be challenge videos? I don't know how you would do challenge videos on Forza Motorsport or even Forza Horizon, especially. Maybe there could be like PvP challenges. I could try to think of something like that. But even if I do think of like an idea of a challenge or whatever the hell I'm gonna do, right? Or like videos like this where it's just me talking through a race, whether it be explaining a race or a topic. It's just, yeah, how would you want that done? Would you run it raw with no music, just car? Do you like commentary with just car? But it's just like, yeah, commentary with just car. What is a mix of live comm and post comm like this one? Or I don't know. What kind of style do you like? Personally, I like music. I think music just brings the whole experience together. Also, this is a great example of why you should qualify an event, especially if you're on an aero track, because you might get stuck behind somebody really slow. Those guys were holding me up so bad. They were really slowing me down, and it kept me from getting into the top 5 battle right there. Or it looks like it would be the battle for 3rd place and whatnot. But enough of the bantering. I just did 10 minutes of talking about Forza Motorsport in 2025 and like, what do y'all like, why I like the game personally. So let's get a practice run at trying to narrate these races. So I am in an A-class Ferrari F40. This thing is essentially bone stock. The only thing I did to it was springs, which give you a couple PI, and then obviously what are those things called? Oh, anti-roll bars or whatever they're called. I also threw those on because they're free, so I could be able to tune like oversteer and understeer and shit like that. Also soften it. Here I hit the gas early and just go wide. Actually, I think in that one I just oversteered and then I paused so he could pass me and whatnot. And I was just like, I'm still getting used to the car, and it's just like these relatively stock, like that Lancer at the beginning where I had that embarrassing clip. Same deal. It was bone stock. The only thing I put on it was springs because it's at the top of the class. You can't really do nothing to it. So it was just springs and the roll bars, and it was just kind of weird because as you see me shaking my head again at myself, springs and roll bars, because, well, it was a weird tune because like I was driving it and the turn-in response was awesome, and the car did virtually whatever you wanted it to do. But the thing is, it had some insane throttle understeer. Like when I pressed the gas, it would start understeering. And same thing with this car. The car's like very stable. It does pretty much what I want it to do. But there was like random times where I would get like severe understeer, and I couldn't tell whether it was just I'm going faster than I expected or some other thing. If anything, the Ferrari F40 sounds amazing, just to say. But yeah, I wanted to see how these did because they said these were very good, if not overpowered, and I was like, alright, let's put that to the test. So this obviously has the speed to compete in these kind of lobbies, assuming I'm not fucking up. It turns pretty well, and it also sounds amazing if I haven't said that. But right now I am just trying to catch back up to 6th place, and right here you can see that there is a fight for, I believe that's 5th. And I ended up catching up and getting into this battle, and I thought this was a pretty good race. So here we're gonna attempt to pass the, I think that's an S15, and I would actually do getting into the hairpin and whatnot. The car is actually performing pretty nice. He loves taps me. Surprisingly enough, this is like a big body AMG right here, and it's actually doing pretty well. Obviously he's not battling with the people up front fighting for 3rd and 2nd place, but like the build's holding up right now. We are obviously outpacing him there. I ended up braking, so I didn't have, you know, end up gut checking him right there. I figured I would have to pass on a turn like this. I thought I would be able to out accelerate him there. Obviously not. So at this point I was just like, alright, let's play catch up and see where he is weakest, and we'll try to attack. So coming into this turn, I figure I'm faster than him, so I'm like, if I keep it close, I don't need to nudge him and be a dickhead here. All I have to do is turn it into a drag race, and then the S15, the Sylvia, gets back in on it, and I know I can beat him in a drag race. I was very grateful I didn't nail that tire there. So I was like, I'm going to pass him eventually, and that ended up happening. I was very curious about how the hell I was going to get past that AMG. So we're getting into the sneaky little turn here. I end up braking late. I'm surprised I didn't give him a love tap here. He ends up going over and I pass him, and I'm like, okay, let's step on it, right? I end up hitting the gas early here because I wanted to build on my lead, but I end up oversteering again. And I was just kind of thrown off by that. I was like, I really thought this car could take that turn like that. But also I didn't do too many practice laps. Well, I did, but then I tuned the car a little bit and it kind of changed things a little bit. So at this point, we're just trying to hold the position and we're just hot lapping to stay ahead. If you look in the top left, you'll see that I'm a 1.5 seconds ahead of homeboy, and he has to get a 0.5 seconds ahead of me to officially get the W. So this last lap and a half, or yeah, lap and a half, is just going to be me fighting them off or doing my best to fight them off. Drop down to 1 into the straight. I should be able to get a little bit of distance between, you know, the Sylvia and I, or at least I'm hoping, because I know they can't take this little squiggly as good as I can. And then also coming into the hairpin, I know I got to beat with the driving line at least, because my driving line through this part of the track was actually really good. Going into this, well, straight to the bull, he ended up cutting the gap to about 1 second, but here, this is where it starts to pretty much grow again. Yeah, it went from 1.1, now we're up to 1.4, almost 1.5 seconds, at 1.5 seconds now. And the car reached 160 easy. I feel like it could push a little further than that. Here, I brake a little bit earlier since we're not fighting for a position, and I'm going to be way more cautious coming into this turn. You can see I got on the gas really late there, and that let us, well, not oversteer into the dirt for the 3rd time. Into this hairpin, I feel like I took this hairpin the best of everybody that was battling for 5th place. So at this point, I was very confident that I would be walking home with 5th. Surprisingly enough, no penalties. No penalties, especially after that horrendous one I had earlier in the video, which was very, very embarrassing, very sad. But anyways, here I am just trying to send it there because I felt like he was getting a little too close for comfort. He actually was catching up in these sections, which I was actually kind of surprised. Normally when you see like a car that starts in D class, like the Sylvia, they're normally just power builds, and normally you can get them in the technical sections of the course, but not here. Anyways, coming into the last hairpin, or I believe this is the last hairpin, we firmly have 5th place, and this was my redemption race. Well, this is the race I did after punting that guy in the other one. But yeah, that is gonna do it for this one. I genuinely I don't know what to say. I didn't think I was gonna be able to chat through 18 minutes of a video, but if you want more videos where it's me chatting up a storm while racing with a little bit of background music, let me know. If not, I'm just gonna keep doing it because I figure this will help with audience retention because of YouTube things. Anyways, here's 20 seconds of a random song.